Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Cool Down Lap podcast. This is episode 6. Thanks for joining us here. My name is Anthony Castor, driver of V8 car in the Cup Series. And I'm joined by James Johnson. Go ahead, James.
Hey, good evening, Ant. How you doing? I'm James J. I'm commentator for the Trucks and the Cup and the Road Series of Midwest Motorsports, and happy to be part of a fabulous broadcast team.
Yeah, it's the broadcast team's putting in some hard work, man, over these last couple of weeks. I commend you guys on what you're doing. Great work.
Yeah, thanks, man. It takes a team.
Definitely it does. So it's been kind of a lull weekend in our racing series. Road series been kind of in the weeds until they get their series started tomorrow. And Xfinity, Truck, and Cup have had the All-Star weekend. We'll touch on all that here shortly. But like we do every week, we're going to go ahead and jump into this week in motorsports. So something I wanted to talk about real quick, James. I don't know if you've seen it or anything, but it just hit me this week. I was kind of going through my news feeds and everything. Did you see anything about the turmoil at the Red Bull facility with the Christian Horner and the female coworker thing going on?
Well, I knew there was some drama. I know that he's under scrutiny, and they were supposed to have a press conference, or maybe he was going to court, or they're going to have some discussion about it Friday. But honestly, I've not paid attention to it. So you are breaking news to me right now. Do we need that little that news bulletin? The beep 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 breaking news. Beep
Yeah.
beep
Now
beep 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 beep.
so just watching that team, it seems like they excel at everything, and I don't want to see something like that kind of crumble the team, but I'd be interested in seeing just how much of a pillar Christian Horner is to that team. Whereas if he has to step away from the team or something, does it really affect their winning? Because they've been dominant the past couple years, and it's interesting to see whether it's been more so the car, Max just being an absolute animal, or if Christian Horner's genius mind behind the whole thing is what's keeping that program afloat. So all in all, that kind of jumped out to me. I was kind of shocked to see it because the guy doesn't seem like he'd be the kind of dude to do that kind of stuff. But he's fighting against it, and we'll see how everything goes out with the investigation. What do you got, James?
Well, it's very interesting. I do follow Formula One, and I mean, like anything, one person, you can build a team and build a team around somebody, but one person doesn't really move the whole ship. The whole freight liner in the ocean thing. It takes everybody to turn that big ship, and it just doesn't change because one person comes or goes. But at the same time, he's a pretty big influence on the team. So I think it would disappoint a lot of people if he did end up coming guilty. And usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. So, um, yeah, but still, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. So I'll just wait till the official results are in, and see where the cookie crumbles and where they end up. If we can stick with Formula One, we'll stay away from Daytona. We can make Daytona 500 its own category. I hope you and I get to talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But sticking with Formula One, um, I am more concerned or more interested in discussing the fact that what um, Zach Brown from McLaren said this week about having constructors and manufacturers team up, and like Red Bull basically has two teams, Ferrari basically has two teams with Haas, and three teams if you count Alfa Romeo or Sauber, whoever they want to be called this year. And Zach Brown was, we won't let another manufacturer in, but we've got these other teams that are supposed to be manufacturers that actually have four teams instead of just two. So I'm really pissed off about the Andretti and GM not being able to come in, despite their credentials. And if you think the name Andretti doesn't belong in Formula One, you've not been paying attention over the last, century. So I don't know. It brings up a good point.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence with the whole thing. I don't dive too deep into the F1 thing. I can see how Andretti being slighted and everything could turn a lot of people away from really supporting Formula One. But on the other side of it, I think the argument was that those teams have stuck with Formula One and built it up to what it is now. So why bring in somebody else to like just join in on this cash hog whenever they want to make them like wait it out or something? I mean, like I said, I'm kind of on the fence with the whole thing. If Andretti would have joined, great. That's more competition. But if they want to, I guess, keep it to their elite teams and whatever they want to be, then that's between them. I mean, their decision making is going to either propel the sport's popularity or just make people not watch it.
Yeah, and I see your point. I think they're two different subjects. The Andretti thing is one, but I truly agree with Zach Brown, especially when there's a budget and a cost cap that you're not supposed to exceed. And if you've got two teams working on the same goal, four cars can get a lot more data sharing back and forth than just two teams. And if you think Red Bull and Toro Rosso or whatever they're called now, AlphaTauri, aren't sharing information, you're also not paying attention.
Oh,
But
they're definitely sharing it.
yeah, and it's like Alpha and Ferrari. So
Yeah,
then you got a team like McLaren that's just got two cars. Um, so that's basically half the budget.
yeah. It.
But as Formula One, man, so much goes on. There's the odds behind the curtain, pulling the strings, and what we see is usually a pretty good product. So, um, yeah,
Well,
uh,
it's funny. It's funny you bring that up because that was actually one of the polls, I believe. It was posted last week on whether Andretti being uh, pushed out of the F1 bid was controversial enough to make people change their views on F1, and it was overwhelmingly uh, a yes vote on people. It really like turning people away from how they view F1. So it's funny you bring that up.
yeah. I don't know if that's like a knee jerk reaction because it was a hot topic at the time. And if people are going to really stick to their guns and not watch Formula One, it's like a train wreck. There's no way I'm not going to watch Formula One, but a little disappointed. I think it'd be a lot cooler if they had a chance. I mean, Andretti's done a lot with Formula E and the rallycross stuff. Andretti's in every form of motorsport. So to say they haven't paid into Formula One as a group, but they've paid into motorsport. I think the Andretti name belongs. But that's me. I'm just a dude in Atlanta calling races.
You're an important man in Atlanta calling races.
It's all good, man. We're all sports fans. We're all racing fans, man. I want to watch some racing, and like you said, the more competition, the better. Uh,
Exactly.
Speaking of competition, what'd you think about Daytona?
Oh man, Daytona was up and down for me. So I really root for Kyle Larson. That's my guy.
Okay,
I kind of like the redemption story for him coming back, really putting his nose down, doing all of his dirt racing and everything, getting the ride with Hendrick and winning the championship. It was I was rooting for him as soon as he came back, and to see him actually finish Daytona and come home with a top 15, not get wrecked. I mean, he was in that wreck, but he didn't get any damage. I I was pleasantly surprised with the results. What'd you
well,
think?
somebody was watching over the Hendrick cars. I tell you what, but I
Yeah.
mean, Chase won the first stage. I think he earned it. He didn't really block. I thought the first stage was so interesting the way everybody was saving gas and half throttling and coming down pit lane together. I mean, at the caution and then coming out. It was then trying to save fuel, and then finally those three guys that stayed out had to go, and then everybody started going. It was, you don't expect a super speedway race to have that kind of a pit strategy, but they really were working the fuel strategy for how long they stop in the pits. And I talk about it all the time and in all of my broadcasts about how important it is to know your fuel numbers and know how much fuel you need to get to the end of the race. And was it Blaney that um, came out by himself of the pits, and he was by himself for a long time until the caution came out and saved him. But did he should not have needed more gas than everybody else because it was same amount of time to the end of the race. So um, yeah, I don't, it was just very interesting to know to see it play out on a super speedway. That's usually like a Homestead or a Michigan kind of a play on the pit crew box.
Yeah, did so you brought up the stage one racing where they're only half throttle. Did you see the snippet Fox Sports put on where they were saying that AJ Allmendinger was actually catching the group of like 25 to 30 cars? AJ Allmendinger running by himself was running faster than the
Right.
pack because they're all half throttle.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that. It's pretty awesome.
I
Pretty
was
amazing. Yeah.
I was looked at my wife and I was like, that is insane to believe.
And they're still going 180 miles an hour, and AJ was going 183, I guess, or 180, whatever it was. I mean, it's just yeah, and again, I think that also goes to show that when they try to control the speed or the horsepower or the downforce and the aerodynamics, as far as NASCAR is trying to keep them in a relatively safe window. That from the stands and especially from the TV, I'm not sure you can tell the difference in 178 miles an hour and 189 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I think the racing is still going to play out the same. But
Yeah, I think you'd have to see the two like on the track together to really notice the difference there.
yeah,
But
or SMT day. Yeah. So
yeah.
anyway, I didn't mean to get off subject there, but
Oh no, no, no.
yeah.
I was going to ask you a question here. So I'm actually going to put a poll out this week. It's going to be like a overreaction kind of poll. Like, so between the three manufacturers, Toyota, Ford, Chevy, which of the manufacturers do you believe is going to be hoisting the trophy at the end of the season?
Whoa. You want me to say with my head or with my heart?
Oh, whichever one
Um,
you think is going to be right.
that's a good one. That's a darn good question, man. Chevy's the only one that don't have upgrades or improvements or updates, I should say. So, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. So, my head says go with Ford or Toyota, and it's hard to bet against the Fords. That dark horse, not only does it look good, but I'm a Hendrick man with my heart. But if I was going to answer your poll today, I would say I'm going to say Ford, and that's my story, and I'll stick with it to the end. So when the season's over, we can come back and rewind and see what we say. What do you think?
Oh man, it's hard for me not to pull for a Chevy, but the way they have this championship set up with it being at Phoenix, the Fords have always ran well at Phoenix. I mean, you look at it, I think Brian Blaney almost won the Phoenix race the year before last. Logano won it. And last season, Ryan Blaney won it. So I mean, it is hard to go against Ford there. But I'm going to go with my heart and say Chevy's going to win it, only because those Hendrick cars always show up with speed. Like they're getting good wins throughout the season, and
Yeah, they
it
do.
it's just hard to say that they can't pull it off at Phoenix. They can't find a way to pull it off at Phoenix. So I'm going to go with Chevy. But all you Discord members in the Midwest Motorsports page, be on the lookout. There are going to be some polls dropping after this. That is one of the polls. So looking forward to seeing how you guys vote on those.
That's a good one.
Speaking of polls, just want to kind of briefly go through a couple of the polls we posted last week. Go through the results real quick, kind of show you guys what everybody's thinking. And so, James, whenever you watch the 500, do you celebrate it like you would the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really watch the Super Bowl, to be honest. that closely, even if Atlanta's in it. I really don't have a NFL football team that I pull for or root for. I just want to see a good game, but I will. I'll definitely break out the bottle of Crown Royal and invite some friends and get on my group chats um, for the Daytona 500. So that my answer was definitely yes.
Heck yeah, man. So like you, I haven't watched a Super Bowl in a couple years. But nah, Daytona 500. It's for me. It's like any other race. You just set yourself on the couch and get a couple good snacks and watch it. And if you get a good nap in, you get a good nap in. But today that did not happen. There was no naps.
Yeah.
um. So our second poll that we released was a question asking which manufacturer would win the Daytona 500. 16 people went with Ford, 15 with Chevy, and 7 with Toyota. So congrats to the 15 people who went with Chevy. The other was that 23 people. We'll see if we can get you on this next poll. See if we can get you on the right side of this. And the third poll was actually split. That's interesting to see. So the last question was, will the winner of the 500 be a first timer or repeat winner? And 21 voters apiece split it, first time and repeat. So that's
Wow.
interesting to see, man. Nobody could break that tie. Good job, guys.
I'm glad William Byron won it, man. It was I hate to see it come down to the to a wreck on the last lap, but I was really hoping they were going green. I hate seeing the wrecks finish, but I think that's what you get when you're at a super speedway and like I say, 3 wide, 7 rows deep for 50 laps. It's just a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb. And some people watch it for the wrecks, and that makes them NASCAR fans. I don't know if that makes them any less of a NASCAR fan. That's what you watch. As long as you're watching, that's all I really care about. But I'm a purist. I like to see them race. I'd rather watch racing than wrecking. But it's I'm just glad nobody got hurt.
Yeah, yep. I agree there. Um, so we're gonna go ahead, James, if you're all right with it, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the road series this week.
Oh man, it's a big week for the road series.
That it is.
I don't know if you're paying attention, but we are going to start our new season for the road, and I'm so excited about it, man. We got a broadcast team. Aaron Holroyd and I are going to do the commentary. Adam Sondag has agreed to stay on and do the cameras. I'm not sure if you heard, but Colin has decided he needs to get smarter to hang with his education. So he's going to take some classes and is limited. He's going to have less free time available to dedicate to the broadcast. So he's stepping back a little bit. He's still part of the broadcast team and making huge contributions even today. But appreciate all that Colin has done for you. Anybody that's out there listening, give Colin Huffman a shout and pat him on the shoulder. Tell him thanks for all the work that he's done on the cameras. Running the live broadcast has been appreciated. So Adam Sondag is going to work the broadcast uh, this season. Shorter season. We're going to start a 10 race season, I think. Is that right? No, 15.
Yeah,
3,
15.
6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, 15 race season. So shorter than 20. It's going to be broken into 5 3 race segments. And 3 of those segments are going to have a endurance race, a 1 hour, 40-minute race. So that's pretty exciting. I'm excited to see where it goes, man. 53 signups are for the road series. So that's a huge car count. My eyes are going to pop out of their head, out of my head, trying to keep it organized. But like I say, we're working on some overlay stuff to help make that easier with the pro and the am split. Steve Hansel, the rules admin for the road, has done a great job splitting them up and making a couple of little rule changes for the points that should see some on-track battles. Each position is important now with the road series this season. So we're going to get it started this Tuesday night. Server opens at 7 o'clock. Qualifying starts at 7:10, and 15 minutes of qualifying. Just run as many laps as you can. Fastest lap will be your start, and race start at 7:25. So that's when the drivers' meeting is. So it's yeah, pretty exciting, man. We're going to be at Silverstone this week, and 40 signups have signed in. They're attending. The last time I checked, I don't know if that's changed in the last few minutes, but yeah, pretty exciting. Silverstone this Tuesday night, 7 o'clock to start the new season. This season, this first segment, the first 3 weeks, we're going to be at Silverstone, then Laguna Seca. Those are the two 1 hour races. Then we'll do the Road Atlanta full course for the 1 hour and 40-minute race, the first week of March. So Silverstone this Tuesday night, 7 o'clock, server open. You're not going to want to miss it. Twitch.com/Ribbonvale. We'll be streaming it, and all the replays also will be posted on YouTube immediately after. So shout out to all the broadcast team, and you're not going to miss it. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, servers open. Let's go racing.
Heck yeah, man! I'd be interested in watching that 50 car if you guys can pull it off, a 50 car grid. I've tasked Dustin with, no matter how big the grid is, getting a sweet screenshot of all those cars going down a straight stretch. So we'll see
I
if
don't know if there's any tracks long enough with a straight long enough. Maybe Le Mans, but I mean, like I think there's a later in the season the Road Atlanta short course. I mean, if there's 53 cars on that one, they're going to be taking the start finish line while some cars are still, coming onto the backstretch on the backside. So yeah, it's
yeah.
going to be crazy. The Road Series is looking up to be a killer series this season.
Oh yeah. So stay tuned, guys, and if you're in that league, go ahead and participate. We want to get as many cars out there as we can, and it just makes the racing that much better for everybody else.
Darn right.
So we'll go ahead and go on to the Oval Series. This weekend was kind of an off week for everybody. It was All-Star weekend. We kind of were a little late on getting the race sign in and everything kind of situated with everybody's personal lives and everything going on. But all three of the series, we decided to go to Martinsville with the Legacy Miata. It was interesting to say the least, throwing that car into the corners and seeing how hard it sticks. I mean, it was actually pretty fun. I wish more people could have made it out to make it a more interesting race, but with who did show up, we still had fun. And like I said, those cars are just stick it in there, throw it in as hard as you can, and it'll stick more often than not. So it was fun.
Yeah, I called the Friday night race, and you guys, it was great fun to call. But I got on track interviews with everybody as it was happening, and I think I got in with everybody. And man, it was a blast. Anthony, you and Michael Samia got into it coming out of turn two, I think one time, maybe it was four, and man, you did a barrel roll in a Miata at Martinsville. Michael Samia kind of got under you a little bit there, and like the time you got sideways, you rolled over. Thank goodness for that roll cage, huh?
Oh man, yeah. I so it kind of hit me after that. I think me and Scamia had a little bit of a run in back in Xfinity a couple seasons ago. Kind of the same situation. So I'm like, man, it must be something with me and Martinsville and him. But it was fun racing. I told Michael there wasn't any ill intent in it because I mean it's a throwaway race essentially for me. I was just happy the Truck Series guys were welcoming enough to let me run in that since I don't normally run in it. But um, no, it was
Well,
good racing. I think I got on the brake just a smidge too hard and he wasn't expecting it and just kind of rear-ended me.
and it may have been the setup on the car too, but I mean, you got sideways, and I don't think now I don't know. Are you were you on the road or were you at your home
Oh yeah, I
game?
was I was at home. Yeah.
So do you drive with monitors or I think you said VR, right?
Yep. I drive with the VR on. That was
So
sickening.
what was that like going over on the top of the roll cage? And I mean, you landed on your wheels, but it was almost like a traction roll, like you caught like a skater catches the edge and you just kind of rolled over, barrel rolled it.
Yeah, that was exactly it. It just started sliding sideways, and those tires, like I said, they stick. So I think they had stuck to the point where something had to give, and it was the car rolling. And seeing that in VR is never fun because you just start going through the roll cycle. It's like you're in a washing machine, just going over and over and over. And um, fortunately, that was one of the tamer rollovers. Like when you hit something going like 170, 180 in one of those cup cars and get rolling, that's sickening.
Right. Right.
But that was a pretty tame rollover for what it was, and like I said, it was a fun race for what it turned out to be, and I was happy everybody showed up that said they were going to show up, and we just did what we did.
Yeah. Well, the trucks this week are Friday. They're headed to Nashville for I think the third race of the chase. Um, Dustin Reinstedel had a pretty big lead thanks to all his bonus points coming into the chase, but in both races, he's had bad luck when it comes to the final checkered flag and been in the back of the pack these last two races. So his lead over Albert Williams is down to 35 and only eight more to Michael Samia in third. So I think any one of those top three can still get in there for a championship win. This is it's going to come down to the last couple of races here at the Truck Series.
Oh, for sure. That's he's getting whittled down right there. So it's going to be down to the wire if they keep it this.
Hopefully Dustin can have a decent run and at least keep it clean. Both of the incidents that took him to the back were not of his own doing. I'm sure he'll be the first to tell you. So I feel for Dustin, but that's why we run the race, and everybody's got to run them. So
For sure. So Xfinity Series, same thing. All Star Weekend, we did the Miatas. I didn't even mention it. So Mike Scamilla did end up winning the Truck Series All Star race at the at Martinsville. Um, for the Xfinity Series, it was I got it right here.
yeah, it was like a four-car race. It looked like they were
Yeah,
having fun though.
Andrew Miller won the Xfinity race, which explains a lot. I'll talk about that what that all entails when we get to Cup. But Andrew Miller won the Xfinity race, 4-car turnout. From what I gathered, everybody's in good spirits. Ran the race because I didn't actually get to watch it. But Cup race was Sunday night, and I'm going back to what I was saying about Andrew Miller winning that Xfinity series. He got the pole, or he got second. Thayer got the pole. Thayer pulled off some kind of lap where he could pull the pole away, and Andrew Miller just happened to. He got down in turn one, took the lead, and I thought he was going to drive away. Man, he was hitting his corners and everything, and I just barely was reeling him in, but he was quick, so I could see how he ended up winning that Saturday race.
So what ended up happening Sunday?
So Sunday we had I think seven vehicles turn out. Like I said, it was starting to be a battle between Andrew Miller and myself, and I think he ended up just barely touching Kevin Mayer's quarter panel and wrecked himself. And then it kind of turned into just me racing myself for a little bit. And Albert Williams came out of nowhere. Like he was, I guess, putting his pace together, hitting all of his turns because he was reeling me in. And I was kind of getting worried, but um, changed the tires and found out that the tire wear with the new set of tires and your older tires is pretty rough. And then after that, everything just everything went fine. Albert pitted in and he ended up losing traction, but that was about it.
Yeah, Albert Williams did pretty good Friday night too. So I'm not surprised to see Albert Williams having a good run on Sunday in the Miatas.
Yeah, Albert Williams is having a heck of a season, man. But we're gonna have to have him on the podcast here sooner rather than later, just so we can go through and pick his brain on how the season's been rolling. Maybe I can get some tips on how to get faster. All the good stuff.
Yeah, he's fast in all of the leagues, and he actually signed up for the Road Series this year too. So um, I'm not sure if he signed in for Silverstone tomorrow night, but um, yeah, that'd be. He's definitely putting in some time on the sim rig.
The last thing that guy needs
Has to
is
get better.
is to get on the road series and get faster and faster and faster. That is the last thing that guy needs.
Yeah, he signed in. We got 42 have signed up attending so far. So
Oh man. I know I said it on a past podcast, but I'm gonna have to dust off my road racing shoes. I'm glad to get faster.
yeah, yeah, it couldn't hurt, man. It's not never too late to sign up. Justin will take signups all throughout the season. So
Yeah. So again, congrats to the guys who won those races over the weekend. Thanks for everybody who showed up. Coming out, trying to run, have some fun. And all three of the series are heading to Nashville next week, so it's going to be fun in the honky tonk.
So is this the fairgrounds or the old Nashville? I'm not sure. I have to look at that.
This is the super speedway, so
Okay.
it's going to be some good racing. Trucks should be able to run that and stay relatively clean. It's You're
You
basically
must
in the
not be
throttle.
watching the same Midwest Motorsports trucks I'm watching.
Well, hopefully, the guys have taken a week to kind of collect themselves, do some practice laps, and learn some lines on where they can go without burning up their tires. But I can be hopeful.
Yeah, thank you for keep trying to think on the positive side. So I will post some breaking news. I'll make a commitment to all the Midwest Motorsports truck racers out there. 10 or fewer cautions, and I'll go back to making a highlight reel. I think the last 3 or 4 races we've had over 14 cautions, and
Hmm.
that's not fun for anybody. Coming down to a green white checker every race is not always, I mean, a couple of times, okay, it can happen, but I know these truck racers are better at racing, and we can definitely do it. So I've been kind of slacking off on them because it takes a lot of time to just for a couple of views. But for 10 or fewer cautions, I'll get back and make a highlight reel for everybody to see and share with their friends and family. They're a lot of fun to make. There's definitely a time commitment. And for 14 cautions, it's even more of a time commitment. So 10 or fewer cautions, and I'll crank up the highlight reel again.
There you go, guys. Do it for James
That's right.
and the highlight reels.
That's right.
Um, Aside from that, I don't think we really have any other news to be covering this week on the oval front or the road front. I think that about covers it. What do you got, James? Anything?
Yeah, that's it, man. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to the Xfinity race Saturday in Atlanta or just the Cup race on Sunday. I'm not sure, but either way, I'll be at Atlanta Motor Speedway uh, Sunday. If anybody's going, hit me up, let me know, and maybe we can share a beer or something together, or soda, or water, or share an easy up out in the tailgate before the race.
You already gave it away, man. They just want some crown off you.
Yeah, Crown Royal, you can bet I'll be having a bottle of that with me for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. Now that you're going to the race, you'll have some things next Monday you can talk about your different experiences on the race. So
Yeah,
this this is good.
yeah, let's do it, man. We missed Justin Taylor tonight. He's got a honeydew list he's working on, and I know Ant, you got some diapers to change, man. So I'm okay calling this one if you want. But I enjoy these podcasts a lot, Ant. Thanks for hosting it. I hope all the Midwest Motorsports guys get to enjoy their ride to work, or however you choose to listen to Midwest Motorsports. Don't forget to follow and like on all the socials, and let Ant know how much we appreciate doing the podcast.
Yep, and we appreciate all you guys, all you Discord members and people, potential Discord members. Appreciate you guys participating in all that you do and keeping this great league running. So look forward to racing with everybody this weekend. And that's all we got for the podcast, guys. So everybody have a good night. If you're watching the Xfinity Series race, enjoy it.
Stay in your lane.